Hello, folks, and thanks for joining me. Today we are at Hughes Mountain, and we're going to hike up the Devil's Honeycomb Trail to, well, the Devil's Honeycomb, I suppose. Now, this nice wide trail here is just a teaser, but this trail really isn't all that difficult, and it certainly is not long. But you need to bring your hiking boots or have strong ankles. You can get hurt on this if you're not walking carefully. So, this trail consists of forested areas like this, some savanna, some glades. Very nice trail. Nice, enjoyable half hour or so out and back, depending on how long you want to see what you came to see at the top of the mountain.
In case there's any doubt.
I've actually hiked this trail before.
Trail this way.
The last time I hiked it, or the previous time I hiked it, was in the spring. And in general, I'd actually recommend coming during the spring. It's a little, it's nicer in the spring. But
Looks like there's a trail
it'll probably be wet, so you're basically walking up a creek bed a little later, so just keep that in mind. Now, of course, the creek bed, or I shouldn't say creek bed, the stream is dry for this hike. It was dry. And part of that is there just wasn't a lot of rain this year. Now, even when I came in the spring, there was not a lot of water in it, but yeah, you were going to get your feet wet going up there. There was just so much water everywhere. Not deep water, it was just there was water. It may not look like it here, but the trail is fairly well marked. It's not, if you stay on the trail, it's wide enough. Now, what we're actually going to see is they're rock formations, like rhyolite columns. They're all kind of adjacent to each other, kind of like these little octagonal columns of rock. And it looks kind of like a honeycomb, therefore. Maybe they're hexagonal, but they have multiple sides. And they just kind of stick up at different heights all over the top of the mountain. Now, this is an out and back trail, not a loop. So you go out, you see what you came to see, you come back. There are some scenic overlooks on the way. You can climb up on the rocks here if you like. There's a trail that leads up there. You just walk up. It's not anything more difficult than the trail itself. And there are actual scenic overlooks where you can look out and you can see how high up you are. Now, they call this Hughes Mountain. This is in Missouri, so it's a Missouri mountain, meaning in most places we would call it a hill. So here's from those rocks. Let's see, no big deal walking up here. Now you can take either way of the trail. I chose to go this way, but it's nice to have options. As you can see, there's a lot of loose rock and gravel and things on the trail, so be prepared for that. As you go up, I'm not sure if this is all rhyolite or what this is. these rock outcroppings. But you can tell we're starting to get up, and you can just look out and see over the tops of the trees down there. Getting a little altitude here. See there, look at that. A little bit of altitude for you. Now there are other people around, so I'm trying to be mindful of and respectful of them. I want to make sure they have time to do what they want to do. Every now and then we'll see them on the trail. I'm not going to tell you I stuck solely with the trail. I might have accidentally veered off a little bit. So, whoops. Now, you can veer off the trail. Like usually it was somebody's point of interest. You know, the trail is well marked, but usually somebody says, oh, it'd be cool to go there, and they kind of walked over that way. But that doesn't mean that just because a bunch of people did it, that's part of the trail. There's some more little view for you. Now, geologically, I don't know how these rock formations came to be as they are. They're certainly interesting to see, and as I said, when I came in the spring, it was a lot better. I think it looked better when I came in the spring. A little narrow in here. No matter. Now, when I came in the spring, there were a lot of people up here with their radio-controlled cars, up in the rocks mostly. This would not have been possible to get a video without having other people just all over it doing what they were doing. Which is, it's fine, but I was trying to show it as it is without other distractions. This is kind of a nature walk as it is. There are some nature sounds, obviously. Now, supposedly, there's a lot of wild mushrooms along here, and we did see some in the spring, but I did not see any on this particular trip. Apparently, some people like to see those wild mushrooms for whatever reason. There's Some roots across the trail again. It's not as bad as it looks. You just have to be careful of how you place your feet. Obviously, this isn't like walking down a paved sidewalk or anything. You need to be able to handle uneven ground and, you know, rocks that may slide or otherwise move underfoot. This nice little bench over here. If you need a rest. Or probably not, of course, because it's like 3 miles total to walk all the way up and come all the way back. Now don't go off to the right. That's just continuing down the stream bed. Like I said, as you can see, it's dry, very dry right now. But in the spring, when it was here, there was water flowing down there. There were some pools of water. I don't think it was anywhere more than 6 inches deep, and mostly less than an inch. But it seemed like the water was just everywhere. It wasn't limited to the stream bed. It was just kind of coming down the mountain. I have no idea how come there's that much gravel in the stream bed. And it seems like the majority of it's in the stream bed. And I'm not really thinking that it was put there. The soil obscures the gravel elsewhere, where the soil's been washed away here, or what the deal is. Yeah, you can see that you can kind of walk to the side of the stream somewhat in some places. But sometimes you have to switch from one side of the stream to the other when it's wet if you want to stay out of the wet. I'm trying to remember if I wore boots when I was here in the spring or not. But I don't remember. It's possible. But, you know, if you don't mind getting your shoes a little muddy, you know, the water will probably get through to your feet in some places, you know, depending on how you step and how the water is. But if you don't mind that, or don't mind cleaning up your shoes and some wet feet, you know, it's not like your whole foot's going to get wet or anything like that if you're watching where you put your feet. It is picturesque. The trail could use a little bit of grooming of the greenery on the sides. But alright, so I hope you're ready for this. You come out here and look at that. Now we're not to the top. There's still a ways to go. It's interesting how it just kind of devoid of trees here. It's got these different rock types. And of course, people have been up here building things with the rocks. I thought I'd go over and look at this. Not sure what they were doing over here, but obviously people put that there. They're smaller, as you can see. Here's another one where, and obviously this was not the park ranger, but you can see where they've been doing something here. How whoever did the trail, you know, the conservation department or whomever, did put in some logs with some arrows for signage. Aren't these just the oddest rock formations? And look at some of this stuff. It's just those columns that just stick up. Like a honeycomb made of rocks. Now, of course, a lot of people think of honeycomb like they'd see in a frame for a beehive, but this is more like a wild honeycomb, where it could be any old shape. You can see why they like to run their radio-controlled cars out here. Got a little view for you there. You can see we're continuing to climb. Look at that over to the right. Just such an interesting rock formation there. And it's not erosion or anything like that that causes this, I don't believe. You don't see how it could be. Obviously another directional indicator there. Otherwise it might be a little difficult to tell where the trail is. Yes, if you know how this was formed, let me know in the comments. And another directional indicator. At least you know if you're still seeing those, that you're at least close to the trail. And of course, people walk all the heck over these rocks. There's another, actually this one, they had a fire in this one. It's terrible if the fire got out and burned some rocks. But, you know, you should always practice, you know, safe fire retention. Now, I'm not telling you that the best route is the route I took over the rocks. I might have done that just for the heck of it. There is a better route. I said a little bit of grooming wouldn't hurt. There's a couple fallen trees. They're kind of leaning a little bit across the trail down a ways. I'm sure you saw them. But, you know, it's no big deal. You just kind of move your body around them a little bit. They don't have to be in the way. You know, if you walk a little bit to the other side of the trail, you're fine. Alrighty. So this is what we came for, the Devil's Honeycomb. Oh, aptly named, all this lichen all over it, I think, looks ugly as heck. It's dead, I think. And if you touch it, it's like hard and rough. It's just kind of ugly and green on the rocks. How about that view? It's pretty okay, huh? You can see we're high up compared to the surrounding area. View's nice. And of course, you know, never mind seeing it, but that's what we came for. We came to see the Devil's Honeycomb. Yeah, it's a little bit more. You know, usually it's more of a red-brown. Yeah, you can see a dead lichen all over the place. This is the other side of that. So a little bit of a view the other way. Not sure what some of these plants here are. But while I was looking at this, I found a flower. So there it is at the bottom middle. There's some interesting beetles over there too. I don't know if you'll be able to see those or not. Now, as I said, there are other people around, so I have to be mindful of them. Now, of course, you get in an area like this, you know, as you watch this, there shouldn't be any danger to your ankles, but, you know, I thought I'd go for a little walk over here. This is not part of the trail. I was just having some fun. So, enjoy it from the safety of your, wherever you are. Look at that tree with the roots there. There's something else. Look at that. Isn't that like those rock formations, just incredible. You know, it's a really interesting view. Or yes, from this side as well. Look at that. With the sun on the other side, seeing these, you know, with the little bit of profile with the shadow, it really brings out the shape of the rock formations. The shapes of the rock formations. There's some more view for you. Like I said, this should give you a good idea, but if you really want to see this, I strongly recommend that you go in the spring. It'll look much better when it's, wet out there. Well, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And have a great day.